All right, welcome to my first ever live stream. Sorry, I had a bit of an issue getting that started, but looks to be okay now. Let me know if you can hear me okay. All right, so let me kind of update everybody. Give me a second here and I'll see what is going on, but we are waiting for the convoy. I am in Barrie, Ontario, Canada. The rest of the convoy, if you can call it that, but what else do you call a bunch of 50 Tesla Model 3s heading up the highway? So in Barrie is another meeting point that we have, and I'm expecting any moment for a number of Teslas to show up, and then we're going to monitor where everybody is, and at that point we will join up with the convoy on Highway 400, which is about a kilometer, less than a mile from our current location here at the Supercharger. So let's see here. I'm going to try to find out. We're using Glimpse to kind of track ourselves and whatnot. So let's see what's going on there. All right, just checking the messages here. So I see people can hear me loud and clear. Thank you very much, Steve. Appreciate that. Hey, Kay Douglas, how's it going? Okay, let's see if we can see this on camera here. But we are using Glimpse, and I don't think it's been updating. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. Okay. So here, this is our organizer here. Let me see if I can zoom this in so people can see it. This is Dax. So Dax is on the move. Let's scroll and see whereabouts he is. So he's just about to look like, hit the 427. So he's down there. He's leading the convoy from the west end. We have another group that started in the east end, and I see one of the people from that group is kind of halfway up the 400 here. But basically, we're waiting for this group to make it from where they are there all the way up to where I am up here. So that's about, I want to say 80 kilometers, maybe a little bit less. That would be what, about 50 miles, maybe a little bit less. And you can see we've got a number of Teslas here. There's 1, 2, 3. We got 4 Teslas teed up here in Barrie, ready to join. And that's kind of where we're at. So grab some popcorn, as Tesla Bjorn would say, and it's going to be a little bit of a while. I'll keep the stream running, but feel free to drop off and join back in. I don't think we're going to see the convoy for at least another half an hour, maybe 40 minutes. Hey, Kevin. Just checking the messages here. Good to see you join the live stream. Too bad you couldn't make it today. Kay Douglas, yes, the weather definitely sucks. We were hoping for obviously a much nicer day, but I guess this is what happens, right? You're always a slave to the weather. What app do I use. So right now, this is my first live stream, and I'm actually using YouTube itself to do that. I tried a few different things. I tried to connect my GoPro to Wi-Fi from my phone. It was just way too flaky. This way I'm using a direct data connection from a Galaxy S10e, which I'm using that one because it's a little bit smaller, has the same camera as the other Galaxy S10 series, allows me to use widescreen in the YouTube app. So that's my gear right now. Yeah, the weather is sad. Okay, let me take another look here where the convoy is. See what kind of progress they're making. All right, so we can see that the convoy now is, looks like he's going to take the 401 to Highway 400, traveling at about 108 kilometers per hour. That's what, about 64, 65 miles per hour. Again, they're about a half an hour away from us. This other group, I'm not sure. So we've got a couple people here that are ahead of the convoy. Maybe they're going to come here to Barrie. There are some people who are driving the Tesla Model 3 Short Range Plus. I do know that there was a couple of people that reached out to me that said that they were likely to come to Barrie to charge up before heading the rest of the way to Huntsville. All right, let's just do a little check-in on the weather here, and it looks like the rain is going to stop. I'll believe it when I see it, though. But it doesn't look like we're going to see the sun today for this drive. However, if it's not raining, I think the fall colors will still hopefully pop a little bit, and it will be an interesting drive. But that's kind of where we stand, at the mercy of the weather. At least it's not cold, obviously, at these temperatures. Just to convert that to Fahrenheit for my American friends, what do we got? Double that and add 28. So 24 plus 28 is what, 52. So 52 Fahrenheit outside right now. Obviously, that's, really far from any threat of snow or anything like that. So I guess it could be worse, right? We could be getting like a foot of the white stuff. So, all right. Oh, here's my buddy Dax. Hey, Dax, just FYI, you're on live stream.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Hey, good, man. How's it going?
Very good. Just wanted to let you know that the Mississauga and the marketing pack have left about 10 minutes ago. We are just approaching the 400, the base of the 400 from the 401, so we should see you soon. I don't know how soon, but pretty soon.
All right, I got you on Glimpse. I've been keeping the live stream up to date so people know where we are. I see there's a couple of people from, it looks like they came from the east side, who are probably about 25 minutes in front of you. I'm not sure if they're intending to come to Barrie to charge, but we'll see.
Okay, if all goes to plan, hopefully nobody has to stop in Barrie. We're just going to drive by. I know that the SR Plus cars were an issue, and we only have 2 in our Mississauga group, and they're fully charged, so they shouldn't have any issue. And
Okay.
as far as I know, in the Markham group, there was no SR pluses.
Okay, great. So what
So
we'll
we shouldn't be stuck.
Okay, cool. What we're going to do here is once you guys hit Highway 89, we're going to move over to the ESSA carpool lot, and we'll be able to easily join you guys right onto the highway from there.
Perfect. Where are you right now?
I am at the Barrie Supercharger.
Okay. And anybody there with you?
Yeah, we've got one, two, three, four. We got 4 Teslas here, and we've got a couple of pickup trucks. Not sure if they're intending to join us, but I guess we'll see.
Well, hopefully not. Unless there's a Tesla pickup truck, then they're more than welcome.
Yeah, maybe a year from now. Okay, great. So I'll keep monitoring you and letting the live stream know where we are.
Okay, perfect. We just got on the 400. There is a lead car that's probably about 2 or 3, maybe 2 minutes ahead of us. We're trying to, as you can imagine, there's probably about 15 or 20 of us from the Mississauga location, and it's a little difficult with congestion and traffic and everything for us all to be in one group. When we first left the Mississauga Charger, there was a little separation with the traffic light for the left turn, so it sort of staggered us a little bit. But we're trying to all come together slowly.
Okay.
Hopefully by the time we reach you guys, we should be one big group, hopefully.
All right. Well, that will look awesome if we get all like the entire group together. It's going to be a spectacle.
Yeah, it did look awesome just driving out of the Mississauga Supercharger. It looked pretty cool there.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait, man. All right. I'll keep following you. Okay.
Bye.
I'll follow you. We'll talk soon.
Okay. We'll see you in a bit.
Okay. Bye.
Over and out.
he just used my calling sign, over and out. Dax, he's so funny. I love that guy. All right, let's check in on any messages. Okay, let's just have another update, another look at Glimpse here to see where the people who have joined the Glimpse are, anyways. And it looks like so Dax. We just spoke to Dax. He's on the Highway 400 now. This time of the morning on Sunday, I think they'll be okay traffic-wise. Let's see here. He's almost at the 407. So that puts them about a half an hour. We have Ryan up here who's cutting over from the 404 to the 400. He's probably going to arrive about the same time as Dax, just because those are a bunch of 2-lane highway, also going through little towns and whatnot there. Let's see. And here we have up in Barrie, we have Brian. And of course we have myself. And I don't know, that's pretty funny. I guess it tracks your movements here. So we're actually not moving, but it looks like we're having a summon party actually here. But maybe we should do that to kill the time. I don't know. All right, well, that's the update for now. I'll chime in again with another update. Sorry, this is behind schedule, but it is what it is. Crappy weather. People get delayed. So anyhow, like I said, I'll keep the live stream running. What I'll do actually while we're waiting is I'll just go over our route a little bit here. Okay, so let's. This is where a 15-inch screen comes in handy. So we are at a mall in Barrie. It's called Park Place, and that's where the Supercharger is located here in Barrie. And what we're going to do as the group gets closer, we're actually going to move from the Supercharger, and it's about, like I said, maybe a kilometer, a little less than a mile. We're going to be heading over to here, and there's a what we call a park and ride here in a, oh geez, did I say the Google word because the assistant just came on? Okay, right here there's a park and ride, and that's just, you know, basically a parking lot for commuters, but you can see that it connects directly to the on-ramp to the highway. So we're going to join the convoy right here along the 400, and from there, let me put in our route here. We are going to go, let's see, where are we going? We're going to Huntsville. Sorry, I should have, there we go. Huntsville. Okay, so this is our route, and it looks like, so it's 132 kilometers from here. Let me try to do the math there. So 100 kilometers would be about 60 miles, and then a third there. So you're looking at probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 miles from here to Huntsville. You know, math on early on a Sunday morning. I may have gotten that wrong, but let's see here. And then here's our route. This area is known for freshwater lakes. There's like, you know, you can't, you know, spit and not hit a lake up in this region. There's just so many of them, and it's generally, it's a very nice drive, scenic drive. I mean, some areas aren't as scenic as the others, but it's usually a very nice drive, especially in the fall with the fall colors. And up here in Huntsville, our destination is going to be this Supercharger location right here. Now they have 8 stalls. It looks like we have probably about 50 Teslas. So you know, we're going to try not to take over too much in case there are people traveling that aren't part of this meetup that need to charge. So Dax has actually gone and put a bunch of I guess, rules and policies, right? Which is great because we don't want to get a bad reputation like, you know, the cars and coffee people did, blocking the superchargers and all that kind of stuff. So that, yeah, should be interesting. And at this location, I've been here to Huntsville quite a few times. It's actually located at a very small mall. And the parking in the summertime can get a little hectic because this area is up in what we call cottage country. Some areas might call that cabin by the lake, or some other different terminology. But basically, in the summer, the population of this area probably quadruples, and it can be very busy in the summer. But I don't expect that it's going to be very busy today. The summer rush season is long over. So, but yeah, that's it. Actually, what I'm going to do is change my navigation to go right to the Supercharger there. Okay. So round trip back, it looks like I'm going to come back with 27%. Just so everybody knows, I have the Model 3 long range rear wheel drive. So I'm not too concerned about the range and getting back here. Actually, I can get back to home no problem from Huntsville. So I won't have to charge. I'll leave the charging stalls open for people who do need to charge. Hey, Brian, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. Steve, so I just went over kind of what the plan is. Were you able to get that, or I can go over that again? K. Douglas is asking if he says no superchargers in Huntsville. Yes, there are. I won't have to charge. I have enough range that I can make it to Huntsville and back to my house without any problems. So, but there will be a bunch of people that need to charge. There are 8 supercharging stalls in Huntsville. And obviously, we need to take into account too that there may be some Teslas there that aren't part of the meetup. So, hey, Sideshow, thank you very much for the follow. I definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much. Brian has chimed in and says it looks like Markham's going to beat Mississauga to Barrie. Probably, Brian. Which Tesla is yours? Are you on the black Model 3? Oh, we've just got another Tesla that showed up. Yeah, I'm waving at you. Hey, Stefan, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup for following me from France. Much appreciated. Stefan says weather is like the weather he's having in France today. I've actually I've traveled to France many times. Usually the weather is good, but I remember one time we went specifically to go to Paris Disneyland, and the weather was like this, and it was awful. It was 3 degrees Celsius. So hopefully it's not that bad, Stefan, in France today where you are. All right, let's check in again with the glimpse and see where everybody is. All right, so up in Barrie here, we've got Brian, who's actually right next to me. And just zoom in, see if there's anyone else who's on the glimpse that is in Barrie. Nope. Okay. Dax, who has organized this and is the ringleader. So he is approaching King Road. So he's, yeah, a good maybe 25 minutes or so, depending on traffic away. Ryan here, who's cutting across the 400, he's going to be ahead of Dax. Let's see if I find anybody else here. So not everybody has joined the glimpse, obviously, but I know that there's a bunch of people with Dax. Ryan might be representing the folks that are coming from the east side of Toronto, so he may have a number of people with him as well. So once everybody hits, we're looking for Highway 89 here. This is an intersection of Highway 89 and Highway 400. That's when people hit that area, particularly Dax. I'll be following Dax. When he hits that area, we are going to get on the move here, and we're going to head down to the carpool lot to better time joining everybody. We have Kevin from the Netherlands joining us. Thank you very much for joining us. He says looks like typical Dutch weather. So looks like the weather's not so great in many places today. DuPont 550, hey. Stefan is asking, he just recently got his Tesla Model 3, it looks like the 20th of this month, and is asking how autopilot is when it's raining. For me, I mean, it's pretty rock solid. I'm actually going to turn off my windshield wipers here, put it back on auto. Come on. Okay. I think the rain is going to stop, but it works fine in the rain if it is raining. Nonetheless, I will be using it today for sure, so I can give you a good demonstration of that. DuPont 550 is asking if we're going to charge in Huntsville. The answer is yes, there'll be a number of people that will have to charge there. So yeah, Brian just chimed in on the rain, and definitely if it's very heavy, the cameras might have some problems at nighttime for sure. Um, Reminds me of the Tesla Model 3 that I see on my commute often. I posted a picture of it. That person has a like a bumper sticker. It says "Caution: Autopilot in Training." So there's definitely some of that stuff still. Stefan, it's still very much a beta product, but with every update, it just seems to work better and better. The odd time they break it, though, but we won't talk about that. Uh, yes, the superchargers in Huntsville are at the mall. Are you from the Huntsville area, DuPont 550? Okay, north of Huntsville, DuPont 550. Kay Douglas is asking if I've done a road trip from the GTA to Ottawa. Yes, I have done that. Um, the If you take the 401, I mean, there's lots of places to charge. Kingston comes to mind. Uh, I think they are putting one in Brockville. I'm not sure if that one is up yet. However, whenever I go to Ottawa, we go up and go through Algonquin Park. So we take Highway 60, and that's a little bit of a challenge. But typically, we can make it in the summertime with the um, Model 3 long range rear wheel drive, which in theory has 500 or so kilometers of range. We've been able to make it from Barrie to there's a mall right downtown Ottawa. The name escapes me, but there's a supercharger there that we use. There's been a couple of planned Tesla superchargers along that route. I mean, Aurelia comes to mind. That one's been promised for a couple of years. It's still not up. I think they're planning one in Renfrew or Pembroke or something. That will be very helpful for anyone's traveling to Ottawa from this area and going via Highway 60 through Algonquin, which I highly recommend because it's a beautiful drive. Kay Douglas chimed in Rideau Center. That's it. You're right. Also a Cadillac Fairview Mall. I've had an ongoing, how should you say, contentious relationship with Cadillac Fairview because they don't really enforce the ICE cars or fossil vehicles from parking in the supercharger locations. I did a video a couple weeks ago where I arrived at a Cadillac Fairview Mall downtown Toronto called the Eaton Center, and they have 16 supercharger stalls. Every single one of them was iced. So I had a big kind of Twitter spat with those Cadillac Fairview. I call them Cadillac Shitview now, just because I don't like their attitude towards EV charging. But that should all change, because there is a law that's going to be coming into force here in Ontario, Canada, very shortly, which will make it a an offense to park at an EV location if you do not have an electric vehicle, or if you are not charging. So if you're in an EV and you're not charging, you're subject to the same fine, which is going to be $125, which I totally agree with. If you're driving a Tesla or any other EV and you're not charging but blocking a charger spot, that's probably worse, because you should know better. But anyhow, that's just my view on it. Okay, we have another question here from Stefan. Did you have defaults when you got your Model 3? Checklist. Oh, okay, yeah. So I think I know what he's asking here. I know that in Europe there's been some stories for sure about, and a few here in North America, where Teslas have been picked up, and owners take them home and then notice like there's paint missing on the inside of their doors, or there's some other type of issues. And I know there's been a couple of checklists that people have developed over time. I didn't use a checklist when I picked up mine. Mine was one of the first in Canada. I didn't even think about doing a checklist, but my Model 3 has been perfect. I mean, the fit and finish, the panel gaps are great, no paint issues, everything was great. Welcome, Alfredo from Montreal. Pardon me for a second. I got a cough. I'm doing so much talking here. Okay, time to have a swig of water. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, that's better. All right, let's check in with the glimpse here. Just make sure we keep an eye on it. Okay, we've got a number of people here who have joined the glimpse. They're almost at 89. So Brian, I'm thinking that maybe we should start heading over to the carpool lot. What do you think? Okay, great. We are going to hit the road. This is very exciting. It's my first live stream. Hopefully the camera is going to be stable. I apologize in advance if there's any issues with the sound or the video, but let's get started. All right. Let me cover that. Not that it matters, but okay. Let's get some AC going. Okay. Just going to wait here for a moment, make sure that I see everybody ready to go. We've got one of our party here that's just unplugging. Just gonna wait for that gentleman there.
Oh, is he coming too?
Yeah, he's coming too. Yeah.
That's good.
Looks like he's just unplugging.
Does he know where it is?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. So why don't I follow you just so the camera has a Tesla to look at? Do you know where you're going, or?
I know where I'm going. I don't know where the entrance is.
Oh, okay. Let me. I'll lead then.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we're going to get going. All right, just to kill the time while we're waiting, this is a mall here. It's just your kind of regular outdoor mall. Some of the bigger stores that are in here that people might be familiar with, there's a Best Buy, which I frequent. It's I'm surprised I'm still married, because every time I come here I buy something at Best Buy, and the wife hates that. So sorry, Shelly, if you're watching.
Now turn right onto Lady Drive.
What I'm going to do is I'm just going to mute the navigation. There we go. So it's wanting to route me to there's a quicker way to get to the 400. That's why it's telling me to go right. But we are going to go to the carpool lot. So I'm going to override the navigation here. The other thing about this mall is there used to be a Target, and believe it or not, for my friends in the US who might be watching, Target did come to Canada. They were here for about a year and a half, and I guess it didn't go so well, so they left. That was too bad, because it was great to have Target here. We call it Canadians. Some Canadians call it, and this is a weird take on the French language, but it's just a Canadian thing. Some of us call Target Target, so it's just a fond word we have for it. But nonetheless, they left Canada. It's too bad. For Stefan, who's joined us from France, we have a little bit of funny, French language stuff here. All right, I'm hoping I'm going to be able to make a right here. We've got some construction. Okay. Wow. Good thing we left a little bit early. Normally I would have made a left there to go to the carpool lot, but I can go down here, and there's another route. All right, what else can I say here? So this is the city of Barrie. It's a city that's maybe 45 minutes north of Toronto. Population is about, I would say, 150,000, maybe a little bit more now. So basically we're driving through just the, urban area here. To the left of me is an aquatic center and recreation center. Obviously there's ice rinks, being Canada. I think most of us are born with a hockey stick. Okay, directly in front of us, that is Highway 400, and that's where we'll be joining the convoy. Just FYI, when I'm driving, I don't have access to look at the discussion, just in case you had asked a question or something and I haven't answered. Okay, I think I can enter the carpool lot from here. If not, that's going to be interesting. So I'm going to do what I call a bandit move, which is going in the wrong way because yes, I F that up. Okay, let's check in and see where everybody is. Okay, let's see here. So looks like Dax is in that group there. They've passed 89. That means they're probably 8 or 9 minutes away. So I guess as they get closer to what's called Maple View Drive here, that's where we'll start thinking about joining the highway, and just I think what we'll do is we'll just drive a little bit slowly to let them catch up to us, and that's I think how we'll join. Looks like a lot more people now have joined the Glimpse group, so looks like the pack is hopefully going to get together here. Thank you, Alfredo. I appreciate that. Alfredo says the image and audio is perfect. I was a little bit worried about that. Stefan, the goal of the trip is just a meetup. So we've got, it's a get together, just a bunch of fellow Tesla owners. We're going to meet in Huntsville. We're going to have lunch. We're going to be talking Tesla. We're going to be answering any questions if non-Tesla owners see us and come over and are asking about our Teslas. We always love to show off our Teslas at these events, and we find that we can help a lot of people who are curious about Tesla and whether or not they should buy one. Lee, thank you for joining us. Lee is asking how long I've had my Model 3. I've had my Model 3 since June 2018. So what's that? That's approaching almost a year and a half at this point. Previous to the Model 3, we also have a Model X, which my wife drives. We got our Model X in September of 2017. That was our first experience with Tesla. And it was like, hell yeah, I need to get rid of our second fossil car and get another Tesla. And that's how the Model 3 came about. Joshua is asking if he has questions. Joshua, if you look at my about section of my YouTube channel, you'll see my email address there. Feel free to email me anytime if you have questions. Oh no, DuPont 550 is at Mount Sinai Hospital. Hopefully everything's okay there. Okay, I'm just going to check in, see where the group is. Okay, looks like we've had a big group that just crossed Mapleview. Brian, I'm thinking that we should probably start heading onto the highway, drive a little bit slowly, and let them catch up. Yeah, I'm getting a thumbs up from Brian. So we're going to get going. This is exciting. The trip is about to begin. All right, again, now that I'm driving, I won't have access to respond to messages, so I'll try to look through them after the trip in case I missed anything. But like I said, if anybody has any questions in the About section of my channel, you'll see my email address. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. Okay, let's get started. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to drive a little bit slowly here, hopefully to let everybody catch up. The speed limit here is 100 kilometers per hour, which is about 62 miles per hour for my American friends. So right now we are driving like little old ladies, but like I always say, no offense to little old ladies. All right, let me see if I can call Dax. Let's get an update from Dax. Call Dax. Oh, shoot, I hate when it does that. Call Dax.
Hello, Mr. Canuck.
Hey, Dax. So we joined the 400. We're driving slowly in the right-hand lane, so hopefully you guys will catch up to us. It looked like there was a big clump that was just about to pass us, so with any luck, we'll all get coordinated.
Oh yeah, that is the Markham guys.
Okay.
With Ryan and Trevor. I just got off the phone with them, and they're doing about 105, so they'll slow down. You guys can catch them. We are about maybe a kilometer or two. Do you have your GPS marked for the Huntsville Supercharger?
I do.
How many kilometers does it say to get there?
127.
Okay, so we're about 5 kilometers apart. Mine says 132.
Okay, great.
So we should catch you fairly shortly. We're doing about 110, 115.
Okay, we're doing 90 right now. So.
Sounds great.
Okay, sounds great. See you soon.
Still live streaming?
Yes, I'm still live streaming. It's been fantastic. Some great discussions going. Last I checked, I think there was, close to 30 people on the live stream, which, it's my first live stream. I'm pretty happy with that.
Awesome. Hello, YouTube world out there. You can only hear me.
Yeah, I think they can hear you. I've got the sound way up. Are you live streaming as well, Dax?
No, I'm not. I was going to, but trying to orchestrate all the groups here. There's another group, part of the Mississauga group, like I was mentioning earlier, that got separated at a traffic light when we left the Supercharger initially. I just spoke to that person in that group. There's about 8 or 10 cars there, and they're about 5 kilometers behind me. So we're a little staggered out, but we're going to do the best we can. It can't always be perfect, but we'll do the best we can.
Okay, great. So what I'm going to do, since you weren't able to live stream, I'm going to make sure that I put in the comments, I want to make sure I capture your YouTube channel. Everyone out there, if you haven't subscribed to Dax's channel, what is it? It's Bailey. It's youtube.com/ What is it?
DaxM.
DaxM. So just search for DaxM. Fantastic videos, very prolific, great ideas. I really enjoy his channel, so check it out if you haven't done so. Just wanted to give you a plug, Dax.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, Paul. We'll see. I'll see you soon, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, we just. Okay, bye. Okay, looks like we just had the license plate uses a 3, like the Model 3 in front of us there, spelling out sexy. So I think that is actually one of our, yes. So now you can see we've got some Teslas here that are passing us. This is really cool. It's like we're coalescing now. Looks like I've got a model, let's see here. To the left of me here, I've got a Model X. It's too bad for the rain. The rear camera isn't really going to work here. But we've now got several Teslas joining us. It's fantastic. I am waving. Great. The auto wipers, one thing that, if you're a new Tesla owner, the auto wipers, they're a little bit finicky. So I'm switching to manual here. And don't get me wrong, the auto wipers have improved like a lot since the car first came out. And the beauty is that, oops, I got to pay attention here. They're doing some construction, so I was in the wrong lane. Okay, now we're back on course. What was I saying now? Oh yeah, they've really improved the auto wipers, but in some conditions they don't work as well as I would like. Tesla uses a completely different technology. Basically, they use the front-facing cameras, and I guess the cameras try to assess the amount of water that's on the window based on what is the droplets that are that it can see, I guess. But it's working much better. It's still not where it needs to be in certain circumstances. Don't get me wrong though, it doesn't take away from my enjoyment. Just a little quirk. Okay, so let's see now. We're gonna speed up a little bit and catch up with some of these other Teslas. Just want to point out for the live stream that I am using autopilot. If you're not familiar with Tesla, the way you can tell is this little steering wheel icon in the corner here is highlighted blue. I'm not using Navigate on autopilot right now. Sometimes I find when I'm driving through a city like we just passed through in Barrie, when you're in the right-hand lane, the Tesla always wants to do the courteous thing, which is to move, when you're in the right-hand lane on a 3-lane highway, the Tesla wants to do the courteous thing and move into the middle lane when you pass an interchange to let people join. However, since we were waiting for people to catch up, I took it off Navigate on Autopilot. I'll put that back on now. We're just driving through a section here. You'll notice that there's been a lot of gas stations, and this particular area is known as Gasoline Alley. I'm not sure what they'll call it 30 years from now, but maybe EV charging alley. I would hope that there's not going to be that many fossil cars left in 20, 30 years. Sooner the better. Too bad it's not sunny today, because we are going to go through some pretty nice areas, and the trees, the colors would have been beautiful. Here's another quirk that I run into periodically. The speed limit here is actually 90 kilometers, but there's some mapping errors here and there in this particular area. I don't see it very often in the Greater Toronto area, but in this particular area, I notice there are some mapping errors that do cause the autopilot a little bit of grief. But it's just this one small section between here and Huntsville where this problem exists. So you can see it's back up to 90 now. So I will initiate autopilot again. So for my viewers watching from Europe, I know that whenever I post a driving video, I always get questions about speed limit and why I'm speeding, or these type of things. Even though the speed limit is 90 kilometers on this stretch of road, anyone else who might be from this area that knows this stretch of Highway 11 between Barrie and Aurelia, the speed limit's 90, but if you're not going, even 110, you're going to get run over normally. Thankfully, it's a Sunday morning, but just to keep up the flow of traffic, typically you'd have to drive 110. So I don't know why they don't just change the speed limit or something like that, or enforce it. But in either case, you can't drive the speed limit on this stretch or anywhere close to it, because you just get run over. I had a question earlier about autopilot in the rain, and for the most part, I got to tell you, I mean, it is pretty solid. It has to be raining pretty hard for autopilot to run into any difficulty. And I've noticed with the last few updates that there's less and less times where I'm driving in heavy rain where there's any issue at all. Even through construction zones, as long as the construction zone is well marked. So generally it's fantastic in the rain, just to answer that question. So I mentioned earlier in the live stream about this particular area and how there's so many freshwater lakes. It's just, I think I said earlier, you can't spit and not hit a lake up in this area. And to the left of us here, there's a big body of water called Lake Simcoe. And so in the summertime, there's a lot of boating, really great for recreation. And the area that we're going to be traveling through very shortly, a town called Aurelia, which is at the northern end of this large body of water. And there's, a nice waterfront there, lots of stuff to do, especially if you like outdoor activities, boating, kayaking, supping. We do a lot of supping in my family, so we love living up in this area with all of the lakes. So we do have quite a number of Teslas behind us. And obviously there's quite a number in front of us. I just noticed that I'm in chill mode. I can always tell when my wife has been in my car because it'll be on chill mode, and sometimes I forget. So let's do something about that right now. Driving back to standard. There we go. I was wondering why she was a little bit sluggish. This is a fantastic feature for those of you who aren't Tesla owners. So you'll notice here, you might not be able to read it, but it says preconditioning battery for supercharging. So whenever you select supercharging as your destination, as you get close enough to that destination, the Tesla battery management system will automatically precondition your battery so that it's at the optimum temperature to be able to handle the most amount of juice. So it's a fantastic feature. We do a lot of long distance trips in this car and in the Model X, and we find that since they introduced this feature, charging is much quicker. And particularly if you do a long trip. Last year we drove from the Toronto area in Canada down to Disney World in Orlando in the Model X, and our Model X is only a 75D, so it doesn't have the best range. I think it's 383 kilometers. It's a 2017. So this was very helpful to make sure our charging stops were quick. And it actually comes with a little bit of a drawback. Sometimes the charging sessions are so quick now, you don't have time to go and grab a bite to eat. You know, you're juiced up and ready for your the next leg of your journey to the next supercharger. It's really getting awesome. The ability to charge quickly, and it doesn't make me miss a fossil car in the least. All right, we've got Teslas all over the place here. To the left of me, behind me, you'll see a number of them that are going to pass. Probably tells me I'm going too slow. Oh, hey, there's that's my buddy Dax right there. He's to the left of us right now. All right, I'm going to crank up the speed here because it looks like I'm going a lot slower than the rest of my colleagues here. Nope, see, we've another issue here where it's dropped down to 30 kilometers. I'm going to take it off autopilot for a moment until that sorts itself out. Someone was asking earlier about driving from the Toronto area to Ottawa, and you can see here in the navigation, we're actually going in the direction of Ottawa. For viewers who might not be familiar with Canada, Ottawa is our national capital. It's a beautiful area. This is the way, if I travel to Ottawa, I always go up through this way. It's a beautiful drive, and you pass through a provincial park called Algonquin Park, which is fairly well known for just being an absolutely beautiful area. You know, if you like doing outdoor activities like hiking and canoeing, it's very secluded. There's a limit on the commercial activity that can happen within the park. So there are a number of lakes that you can hike to that you'll be absolutely alone on the lake with your canoe or your sup. The only downside is there's a lot of bears. So you know, you got to obviously pay a little bit of attention to what you're doing, so you don't get mauled by a bear. But Okay, so now we are in Aurelia, which is the next closest large city to Barrie. Again, it's a beautiful area, especially in the summertime. I really enjoy coming up here. I come up here quite a lot. Okay, we're going to crank up the speed a little bit. Looks like I'm falling behind. And to the left of me, there's a Best Buy. I know where all the Best Buys are around here. A little bit of a tech junkie. If you follow my channel, you'll know that I'm constantly getting a new smartphone. All right, so we're gonna have to crank up the speed here. The convoy is going a little bit fast. Again, it's not unusual in Canada to drive, 120 in a 100 zone. It's just the way it is. All right, the other thing that's notable about this area, and sorry, I guess I'm kind of trying to be your tour guide, hopefully try to make it a little bit interesting for you if you're watching this stream. Talk a little bit about the area, so if you're ever visiting, or if you're maybe after watching this, you're interested in visiting. The other thing that's interesting about this area, to the left of me is the tail end of Lake Simcoe. This area gets a ton of snow. As we get closer to Huntsville, there's more and more snow in the wintertime, which is great if you like to do outdoor activities. All right, I'm just going to pass a few of the Teslas here. Actually, I'll pass one. I'll try to sneak between Dax and the other guy here. Okay. So what was I saying? Yes. So lots of winter activities around here. We don't have in Ontario, Canada, we don't have mountains. So there isn't great downhill we're approaching a hamburger place just to the right of me over there. It's called Weber's, and it's in the summertime. It's so crazy busy. They had to build this bridge across the highway because people in both directions want to stop and have a hamburger there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love a good hamburger, and the hamburgers are good, but I wouldn't say they're like that great. I don't know if you disagree with me if you come up this way and you stop at Weber's, but it's certainly a good hamburger. Sometimes the lineup is just not worth it. It's like really crazy. All right, looks like we're doing a more sensible speed here. So looking up ahead, it might be hard to see from the live stream because of the weather, but I'd say there's at least 20 Teslas in front of us, and I'm looking in my rear view mirror, and same thing as far as I can see back in my mirror. There's Teslas. So looks like this is a very successful meetup. As I was saying earlier, it's always great to get out and meet the fellow Tesla owners. It's such a great community, and it gives us an opportunity to show people who maybe have never seen an EV, let alone a Tesla, and talk to them about why electric vehicles are the future. And normally it's such a great experience, and people are even people in the giant pickup trucks who you might think if you're generalizing might not be interested in Teslas are very interested. So it's just a great community experience, and I'm going to try to capture some of that on the live stream when we get to our destination in Huntsville. Now you can see that it's been the misty kind of rain where visibility is kind of bad, and I've been on autopilot most of this trip and have not had to intervene, have not received a bad weather message warning on the screen here. So it's very reliable in this type of weather. That being said, make sure you're paying attention, all that good stuff. It's still quote unquote beta, and a lot of times, there are Tesla owners who do things like stick an orange or something. There's something called an autopilot buddy. They'll stick it on the steering wheel, and that way they get around the nag and potential of the Tesla software shutting down autopilot for the rest of their trip. Don't do that, because bad press sucks, and when somebody does that and they're caught sleeping in their Tesla, or they slam into the back of a fire truck or something because, I don't know, there's a shadow or something, and the Tesla doesn't see the object. It's bad press. So don't do it. Pay attention when you're using autopilot. There will be a day where it moves from beta into a production type of service, and you will be able to do an entire trip while reading a book or whatever, but we're not there yet. It's still beta software, so just it's always wise to pay attention. That being said, don't get me wrong, even in beta, and even with the software nagging you to put some pressure on the steering wheel, it's still a fantastic tool for long trips, and also particularly when you're in stop and go traffic, to make the drive less stressful, right? And it really shines in those circumstances. And we know that with Tesla's history of updating their software, eventually we're going to get there, at least to a solid level 4. I'm not sure myself about level 5 and when we're going to see that, but I definitely see level 4 on the horizon, and that's going to be fantastic. And just to, in case you're not familiar, so like level 4 would be a level of autonomous driving where the driver may still need to intervene in somewhat extreme situations. Level 5 obviously being the full autonomous, not even having a steering wheel kind of a car. So. All right, why don't we take a look and see what the efficiency looks like. All right, so over the last 50 kilometers, I've been averaging 148 watt hours per kilometer. Rated range for this vehicle, which is the long range rear wheel drive, the rated range is 150. So right now, even with it being 12 degrees Celsius out, and a lot of this trip so far has been uphill, still getting excellent efficiency on this drive. And you can see my projected range in Huntsville is going to be 364 kilometers. I had percent before leaving my house this morning. When we left the Barrie Supercharger, I was, I think, at around 92, 93 state of charge, and I'll have no problem getting to Huntsville and back with plenty of juice. I won't need to charge in Huntsville. I'm going to let others with the short range plus model use the superchargers. I won't need to charge. going to be. And sometimes you can perform better than the software predicts. Sometimes it's a little bit worse, but for the most part, unless you're driving a little bit erratically, it's very accurate, I find. Now again, for the folks who don't have a Tesla or maybe just interested in a Tesla, I'm going to go over a few other things just to, keep the drive here a little bit interesting. So where do I start here? First of all, having the console in the center of the vehicle, in my opinion, is something that you get used to very quickly, and it's not really an issue. Seeing the speed here on the left-hand side, it'll be on the right-hand side for some folks in Europe. You get very used to that. Out of the corner of my eye, I can always see what my speed is without having to turn my head. I'm going to just get in front of this guy here and see if I can rejoin the pack a little bit. So hang in there for a moment. I'm going to continue my thought when it's safe to do so. Okay, great. Some of the features, it's very much like a smartphone on wheels, where you're using gestures to pull up certain information. So here I can get my stats on the trip. I can get stats since my last charge. You can even reset your trip if you wanted to track a particular trip. So, very common features that most cars have. The difference being that the interface is a gesture-based interface. If I go to the other side here, I can see my tires and what they're inflated to. I see that my left front here one is a little low, which typically happens in a change of season. When it gets from a warm season into a colder season, you tend to have to top up your tires. So the other thing here is obviously we have our wiper controls, that type of stuff. Again, everything is just within a flick of a gesture. Whenever you have a message, you can make it smaller here if you wanted to not have it so in your face. Accessing things like your music, it's just a little tap here of the music icon, and swiping up gives you a view of things like your playlists and all this type of stuff. This is Spotify, which I tend to use most. However, you can access other streaming services, tune in. You can access the music on your phone. I'm just going to pay attention here and make sure I'm going in the right direction. Yes. This is the area where the fall colors would have been really nice if the weather had cooperated with us. All right, some more Canadiana information. We're in a region right now which is part of what's called the Canadian Shield. And what the Canadian Shield is, it's an area of extremely hard and dense rock formation. I forget how far it dates back to, but I think it's dates back millions, maybe hundreds of millions of years, and they call it the Canadian Shield because that area it's kind of shaped like a shield, and because the rock is so dense and hard. There's a few notable Canadian cities that are on the Canadian Shield. One of them that comes to mind is Sudbury, and in Sudbury there's a lot of mining for minerals like nickel, for example, that are basically around because of this formation of the rock. And also too, if you go back to almost the beginning of time of this landmass, if you will, it was hit by a large asteroid. So yeah, there's some interesting geological things to explore if you're up in this area. I know in Sudbury, for example, you can go deep into a mine down the Canadian Shield and stuff like that. So just a little tidbit of information about this area of Canada. And you'll notice now that the rain's not as hard, that periodically now we're going to be passing, and on the left and right you'll just see rock formations here, right to the right of me. And then as you get into where all the lakes are, it becomes even more prevalent. You can see all of this old hard rock that's in this area. All right, you'll notice that I tend to turn off autopilot whenever I need to change a lane, and that's just my personal preference. The auto lane change, I mean, it works fine, but often it's not as aggressive isn't the right word. Trying to think of the right word. It's not as human as other parts of autopilot in terms of the driving experience. It seems that the Tesla will want to be very cautious, which is a good thing given the state of where we are with autopilot technology. Long for my liking to make a lane change, and that's just me. That's just a personal preference. Other people find it's perfectly adequate for them. That's just kind of been my experience. All right, looks like it's opening up a little bit in terms of the traffic. I'm gonna see if I can catch us up to the rest of the convoy. I'm looking in my rear view mirror. I still see, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I still see a ton of Teslas back there. Can't really tell from the rear camera, but looks like we've got two big packs now. We've got the packs who are not driving as fast, and we have the packs that I don't know, maybe people have to go to the bathroom or something because they're traveling pretty fast. So that sound that you just heard, means that navigate on autopilot is active. Sometimes, depending on where you are, navigate on autopilot might not be available, so it'll chime on and chime off like that, just to let you know. Now we're passing through a town called Bracebridge, and this is another fantastic spot for having a cottage or a cabin in the woods, as others might describe it. A very beautiful area, beautiful lakes, trees. It's just a great place. And in the summertime, it's extremely busy up here. And in the wintertime, they get buried with snow. It's kind of like, I'd say they get buried the same way that Buffalo, New York gets buried. Like, just buried in snow up here. Okay, so we're finally getting a warning here about poor weather detected. On autopilot not to work, but you can see, I mean, this is pretty crappy weather. The only thing worse would be snow. Now, the weather forecast did say that this rain's going to end, but you know how a weather forecast goes. But I guess in terms of weather, like before I got my my first Tesla, so the Model X in 2017, and even to this day, I mean, I gotta say, I watch a lot of Tesla Bjorn's videos, and there's many times I've seen him do live streaming in these type of conditions. You can see that I just used the auto lane change there because I had sufficient time. Back to Bjorn. So yeah, he's done a lot of these live streamings, and the weather in Norway has been like this or worse. It's just the luck of the draw, right? When you go out and you've got something really great planned, and the weather doesn't cooperate. Very much like when you go on vacation and it was sunny the week before, and the week of your vacation it's like this. You can see the window really got coated there when that Tesla went in front of me, and it did not impact autopilot, which is amazing because I can barely see. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Okay. So obviously it got bad enough where you do get that warning to take over immediately. But that was pretty bad. I mean, you know, that was, you don't see a window get coated much more than that. All right, I'm going to switch back to auto to see if that is better. I had an issue earlier with the auto wipers. Sometimes they're very finicky. In case you're wondering why I wasn't on auto. And let me know in the comments if you have a Model 3 or any other Tesla, what your experience has been like with the automatic wipers. It's been kind of finicky for me, so sometimes I turn them off. But anyhow, I'm glad that that actually happened, because I wanted to show an example of where the weather might just get too bad, you know, because the visibility was so bad that you end up getting a warning to take control of the vehicle. So that was worthwhile just to demonstrate that. Okay, let's see if I can see. I still can't re-engage. So reduce visibility on the camera. So I guess this answers Stefan's question, if he's still watching the live stream from earlier. I think it was Stefan, it might have been somebody else, about whether or not in severe weather like this it impacts autopilot. So yes, it does get bad enough. Steering wheel up in this left-hand corner here. So that means if I try to engage, it will not engage. So we're going to be kicking it old school here. All right, let's check in on the energy consumption. So we've started going uphill. Will impact your efficiency just like they would in a fall car. I'll sneak back in. Looks like I'm part of the pack again. Yeah, so a lot of those things apply to both EVs and fossil vehicles. And just the basic physics, right? Of, you know, going into a headwind, of course your efficiency is going to go down, right? And also speed. Yeah, that's another variable that I should mention. We really ratcheted up the speed for the last 20 kilometers or so, trying to catch up to the pack here. So all those things combine into a higher average watt hour per kilometer. All right, what else can I show you while we are at this point in our drive? Just again, it's too bad it's not sunny because this area is so nice. But let's check out more of the interface here. One of the things that you'll notice is that the entertainment section is grayed out. When you're driving, you cannot access the YouTube app or the Netflix app. It's just not available. So, which makes sense. You wouldn't want to have a situation where someone was driving and watching videos. So that's how Tesla does it. They just gray it out. What else have we got here? Now, interestingly enough, you can access the web when you're driving. So, yeah. So if we go, I don't use this account for music. This is my Tesla Canuck account. It's not my primary Google account. But one thing that's very interesting is it's a full browser experience, and you could actually access your music. However, when you're driving, there's no sound, so that's how Tesla is preventing you from being distracted with the browser. But a lot of the stuff still works while you're driving, which you may or may not like in terms of its potential to distract you. I tend not to use the browser when I'm driving, personally, anyhow. All right, so that sign just said Huntsville, 14 kilometers. What's that in miles? I don't know, 8 miles? So we're almost at our destination. There was another sign there for a place called Deer Lake. There's a resort at Deer Lake that is popular for tourists, and its claim to fame. All right, while we have a moment here, let me see if I can zoom all the way back out for people, if you're watching, around the world. Whereabouts in Canada are we? So we are right here. So heading north. Interesting on okay, we are in the home stretch here. So once we get to the destination, I'm going to continue the live stream for a little bit. I will hopefully be able to show you all of the Teslas that are part of this meetup today. I'm not sure if anyone's going to be getting out of their cars because of the weather, but we'll see. And I don't mind getting wet. I'll go out. My phone's waterproof, whatever. I'll go out and grab some footage of the event for you. So stay tuned. I will do that if you're interested. And I do thank you for joining. This is my first live stream. I very much appreciate it. Hopefully I did okay for you guys. And I'll probably think about doing more of these in the future. Oops. All right, so this is our exit coming up. All right, we have a lineup of Teslas ahead. And I think there's a group that also is in front of us. We'll get a sight for how many Teslas there are very soon as we pull into the parking lot. Actually, I think I need to get over. So as I mentioned, in the summertime, this place is just packed. This area, like I said, the population just balloons, probably 10x. I don't know what the number is, but a lot more people are here in the summertime. So hopefully, because it's the fall and it's kind of a nasty day, that there'll be ample parking for all of the Teslas here. I'm actually going to go in this side. I'm going to break with the pack. I've been here many times. A few of the Tesla participants here in the meetup probably have never been here. And we've got an OPP, so police. That's the Ontario Provincial Police. They obviously are the ones that will pull you over if you've been speeding. Now, I think we did our fair share of speeding. We didn't mean to on that trip, but I don't think anybody got busted. I'm sure the cop is wondering, what the hell are all these Teslas? Okay, so let me here, I'm gonna grab a raincoat, and then I'm gonna take the camera off the mount, and we'll go out and we'll start talking to some people, and we'll get a count to see how many Teslas are here, all that good stuff. So if you want to stay tuned for that, you're more than welcome. All right. As I'm doing this, I apologize if you inadvertently get a crotch shot or something like that. Actually, you know what? First, let me get my jacket out, because otherwise you will be looking at nothing. You can't see it on camera, but I just put my jacket on backwards. That didn't work very well, did it? All right, let's go check this out. All right, looking from this direction. All right, we got a ton of Teslas. We've got some folks charging. Hello, hey, hey. Hello.
Yeah, we were trying to
Hello.
catch up. Hey, Mr.
Hey, there's my buddy Dax. How's it going, man?
Buddy? How you doing? How was the drive?
Good. The drive was it was good. I'm still live streaming.
Was it uneventful? Because that's what we really want, I guess.
Yeah, it was uneventful. I feel bad that everybody didn't get a chance to see all the beautiful fall colors,
I
but
know. It is what it is. We can't predict it, I guess.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was great. Thank you for organizing this.
No problem.
Yeah.
It's a little rainy. That's why we're all hooded up and everything like that. But it is what it is. We live in Canada, right?
We do.
And it's late October. Actually, it could be snowing some places. So we have to be fortunate. We have to be grateful for what we have.
Yeah, exactly. If that didn't pick up on the microphone, Dax was just talking about in Canada. Okay, I just got a some kind of a streaming data error message. So
Yeah, the data, the
yeah. Okay, folks, I'm going to end the broadcast here. We'll probably hit that 50 Tesla number over there just for people. This is just a mall. There's a restroom. There's a few places to shop. Over around here, there's some restaurants to this way, just across behind those trees over there. So if you ever need to come to Huntsville to the Supercharger, this is what you can expect. Thank you again for joining me. I very much appreciate it. Tesla Canuck, over and out.